This is a history podcast.
True. Serious.
Let's talk presidents. In fact, let's talk all of them in order.
Yep.
That was it?
Hold on.
No.
Just wait. Let's talk Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Adams, Jackson, Van Buren, Harrison, Tyler, Polk, Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce, Buchanan, Lincoln, Johnson, Grant, Hayes, Garfield, Arthur, Cleveland, Harrison, Cleveland, McKinley, Roosevelt, Taft, Wilson, Harding, Coolidge, Hoover, Roosevelt. No, hold on. Give me a second. Hoover. Yeah, it's Roosevelt. Truman.
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah.
Second.
Yep.
Truman, Eisenhower, JFK, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump.
Did you say Obama now?
Obama. Wow.
Obama now.
That took me all night.
Damn, dude.
You studied for that all night?
No, it took a half hour, but it was pretty
That's
intense.
pretty good.
It's
Yeah.
insane.
I had to keep practicing. I was doing it before bed.
Do the
Like I was praying.
Do the vice presidents.
Adams.
Are you seriously going to try?
I could go. I think I could
Here's
go
a good
decent.
piece of trivia, and don't look it up.
Nope.
Okay.
Here's a quiz question. Who is Johnson, Lyndon Baines Johnson's vice president after Kennedy was shot, who became the vice president? Your mother's cunt.
Oh, man.
It wasn't her.
It was not.
It wasn't your mother, it was her cunt.
Her cum was a... Wait a second. This is a history podcast.
Yeah.
What if that was true?
You're telling me Jones cunt.
Yeah, because he only needed her for 1 year. And
She's
then when he
gonna be
ran
so
for
excited. She's
then
gonna
when
be
he
so
ran
excited to watch this.
then when he ran, he got somebody else, but he was like, he called out, Joan, I need your cunt to be my vice. He called her from Dallas. You know that famous picture of him on the plane?
That was...
He called her right before that. I need your vagina to be my president, my vice president.
All right, so let's start from the top. Mom, I'm so sorry that he said that.
I'm not. I never met your mom.
You
Very
held back. You held
Very
back.
sweet. She's
I
very
heard it.
sweet. Very
Your
sweet.
mom. All right, let's start with Washington, dude.
Yeah.
What do you guys know about him? What do you say?
I mean, Washington is
Never
like
lied.
a transitionary guy because he was so British. He was a British general.
Mm.
He wasn't like a, he wasn't born in the America. He didn't create America. It wasn't even his idea.
Yeah.
He was just a tool of. He was the first general president.
No, he was born in the U.S.
No, I know, but he wasn't like he was a Brit. He was a
Yeah,
He was
fought
a
in the
Brit.
French and Indian War as a British.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's a lord, wasn't
He actually kind of sucked in that.
In that war.
In fact, also kind of...
Everybody sucked in the wars. Though.
Everything he did was
It
retreating.
was luck to win anything. Then
Yeah. He was good at retreating. That was like his number one
it's an
thing.
important thing to be
Which
good
is
at.
very good in war. They don't
Otherwise,
teach
you
that.
lose once. He would fight again because he retreated so well.
Yeah.
It's pretty tight, though. Show up and be like, nah. And
Yeah.
just run away and be like, nice.
1789. That's when he started. All
Well,
right.
most of the guys, it was so hard. Like a lot of the army didn't want to be there
Mhm.
and didn't have to be there. It's crazy. Like 1776, the year that Washington did all that insane shit. It's crazy that people kept expecting the army to flee,
Yeah.
but they hung in there with little. It's not like they were like, we're making America that's coming later.
Yeah.
They had no fucking idea. So he's as good as they were, basically. And it's not, like you picture him on this horse, like talking, but no, most of them didn't even look at the guy. They didn't see him. Like in the movies when they show a guy making a speech, to a whole army, and
Yeah,
there's
it's-
3 guys can hear
Yeah,
him.
it's impossible.
And the rest are like, what's even happening? And they're all shitting on
Yeah, it's
the
like
ground.
Braveheart
They're
when
all
he's giving
dying
the
of-
speech. The only
Yeah.
people that can hear him are like, "Shut up!"
Yes,
Those
yeah.
2 dudes are like,
Yeah,
"The
yeah.
English are too many."
The English are too many.
Home.
Yes, we will live.
Yeah. We will live.
That's a good
All right.
point. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
No one heard those.
No one
speeches.
hears
No one
any of
heard
this.
any of their speeches, so it was really these guys all got together. I don't know. They
They
got
stood
together.
there.
They decided to just keep doing it.
Oh,
I don't want to spend too much time on Washington.
Yeah, Washington. I
He's
was
played
never that.
out.
I never really. I mean, the great thing he did was leaving when it was time to go.
Yeah.
It was like the thing because a lot of them wanted him to be king,
Yeah.
and a lot of them wanted him to be permanent. He's the one who said the thing where they wanted him to be. Adams wanted
Adams.
him to be Your Majesty or Your
Yeah.
Excellency,
They went by His Excellency.
and he said, "Mr. President."
No.
What?
Jefferson was the first Mr. President.
Yeah, but Washington
Washington-
wanted Mr. President.
Washington went with His Excellency because Adams had this long one. His Majesty, all this shit.
What?
Washington kept His Excellency.
According to the HBO's theories about John Adams,
Yeah, but I looked into it.
Washington said, "I want Mr. President."
Maybe he did, but he went by His Excellency. Therefore, the reason he did it was because he didn't want to shake people's hands. And back then, that kind of
Because he was like Howie Mandel.
yeah, he was like he'd rather just
He was
have
a
people
germaphobe?
bow. I don't think he was a germaphobe as much as he just was like, this does command some respect. Because this is the first time in his life he started to get criticism.
Really?
Because when he was a general, everybody globally
Mm.
outside of England was like, this guy's the fucking
By the way,
man.
president, like to talk about that word for a second,
Yeah.
what a president is, like just an overall president thought here. What I love about presidents is that it's a human being, it's a person.
Yep.
And to me, like it's like like some college professors teach the Bible as literature. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they don't teach the Bible as a religious subject. They teach it as like what it's done for history and what the stories are about, and that kind of thing. I look at U.S. presidents that way. I don't have a political view about any of them. I just
Yeah.
think they're fucking fascinating. And president, the word by itself, like your president is nothing. It's not. You're not a leader. You're not a ruler. You don't rule. You preside. I mean, that's literally what it means. Is that there's a whole group of people that are running the government by the people's will, and you preside. You just happen to be there. It's like in the Senate, whenever they show people in the Senate speaking, they always say Mr. President over and over again. And they're speaking to whoever is presiding. It's never the vice president is literally the president of the Senate, but it's whoever takes the chair that day. Who's presiding? It's an incidental title given to an equal who is chosen for that minute to preside. That's what I like about it. That's what I like about how they framed it.
Yeah. When did they set term limits? I didn't even look into that because he just left.
Right. He was the first one to go. I could stay, but let's
he's
get
like,
this
"I'm done."
going. Let's get this started.
Yeah.
There's some famous moment where he was speaking to the Congress and they were trying to get him to king himself. And he was apparently really vain about that he wore glasses, so no one ever saw him with glasses on. And so the moment that's supposed to be this shocking moment was that he took out his glasses and put them on, and he said, like, "I fear I didn't see you for what you are." That was supposed to be this big moment. I like to think
It'd be
that
funny
if
if he
he
was
did,
dumb.
like he was really hoping if he missed, he's like, "I fear I didn't see," and they're all like, "Yeah, you wear glasses. We all," you know what I'm saying though?
Yeah.
Like he keyed the whole thing on this moment. See what I'm saying? And they're like, "George."
Yeah, it's also a good moment for him to be like, yeah, you're right. You should not.
How
be
do you
king.
turn down
You're
king
trying to do
status,
funny
though?
jokes.
What?
How do you turn down? Like
That's what
you
makes
should
him
be
the
king, and you're like,
That's what makes
no.
him the man, dude.
That's wild, dude.
That's what makes him.
Well, also
like,
he wasn't. Again, none of these people knew the future. He didn't know that he was giving away the keys to later nuclear war America.
True. Yeah.
He thought we were a dumb fucking like what?
Yeah, and these were all
Yeah.
separate colonies.
Like
True, yeah.
if Louisiana became a separate nation, the first president of Louisiana might be like, "You guys, I'll do one term.
Yeah, I'm
It's
done.
good. I don't need to like hang in there."
all right,
So,
Adams.
Okay, Adams is like my favorite of those guys. Of
I
the
like
founding
Adams
fathers.
I like
dudes.
Adams from the show. I loved him in that. He was a great Paul Giamatti.
Well, I
As
read his biography. I listened to it. I don't read
As a
anything.
president,
Counts.
Oh, he was not a great president.
not at all.
It shows everybody's got these different kind of strengths. He was a great framer. He was one of the guys.
Yeah.
He did many very important and gutsy things. And he was also the only one of those guys who was not rich. He was a poor farmer. He was his education changed his life. He's like one of the first Americans who had that experience, where he was, had a decent farm, but not much, but he made his brain work, and he excelled and passed that on to his son, who we'll talk about.
He fucking ruled in the revolution.
Yeah.
Adams was the man.
Adams was the man. And because these other guys, fucking Benjamin Franklin was just a giant perverted asshole.
I loved him.
Oh, he was great. And all these guys are
Yeah.
great. I'm not judging any of them, but he wasn't. He was of limited use because he was intrigued by America, but he didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He never would have shed any blood or sweat or tears for the country. He just was interested, and he had a huge brain. So he'd lend it when he felt like. Mm-hmm. He was also full of shit. Like he was supposedly invented electricity, but some other guy, he saw a guy in his own autobiography.
What?
Hold on
a second. He never
I just watched
faked
Ken
anything.
Burns on him. I'm pumped on him right now.
Okay, so he saw a guy do the kite.
What?
And he was like, that's cool. And he paid the guy for like the license to the gag. And then he got one of his sons to do it, to go around doing it for money. It was just a thing that he picked up other people's ideas, which is its own thing.
He also, all of his inventions he would never patent. Which is pretty sick. He was like, all my inventions are for everybody.
Yeah, he was for what do you call it? Open source.
Open source.
But he did get a little jealous because all of a sudden, because he was the man.
Yeah.
He was the American that everybody loved.
Be frank.
And then Washington became the man.
The general.
Like the French were like General Washington's the guy. So he got a little. He was a fame hungry.
Did you ever read his autobiography?
No.
It's amazing because he has no judgment of himself. So he's the only, like a lot of people that write autobiographies, it's kind of careful. But like he tells this story about he was living in London and there was a guy who worked for him, kind of like a half tradesman kind of guy who he befriended. And the guy had a woman he wanted to marry, a maiden, but he didn't have a position and he didn't have his own home yet. So, and his mother didn't want, I don't remember all the logistics, but it was that that he asked Benjamin if he could move his wife into his house so that they could marry. And he said, sure. And he said, and she moved into my home. And then I took it of my pleasure to, to partake of her sexually. And she, spurned my advances, so I threw her out, and that was the end of their marriage. And I never saw him again. He was real upset, and I never saw him again. But I know both their lives were destroyed. And then in May, I met this other guy. Like he just talks. He did awful things to people, and didn't give a shit.
Yeah, there's some pretty sick quotes about slavery too. That he was like, I am racist. Like he was one of the first, if not the only founding father to like constantly be like, I am bigoted.
Right.
None of them, everyone else was like, this is the law.
Everybody was like, Ben.
Yeah, shut the
This is it's economics.
You're trying to fuck this
it's not
up.
about race. He's like, oh, it's totally about race.
Yeah, they were writing the Constitution like, look, our hands are tied. We can't do anything.
They had to break it out.
So he was, when he showed focus, he was of use to like the revolution. And the same with Jefferson. Jefferson was like a depressive fucking freak. And so he would just like leave Washington. Yeah. He would just go like, my wife is dead, whatever bullshit. And he would get on his horse and just leave, because also he was a man of great wealth, and he had his life in Monticello and in Virginia was, we'll get to him, but the point is that Adams was just a doggedly hard-working. He was the only one who worked constantly.
Yeah.
And it was really the three of them in Madison, but he was the guy who did the hardest work to get this shit started.
Yeah.
He also apologized for cursing.
Adams?
In one of his things, he's like, I lament to admit that I sometimes cursed, which I feel shameful about.
Also, when Adams did his did the Constitution of Massachusetts, the Constitution of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, is like the most liberal document in the world, because Adams was like, he's like, I'm going to get it right. Everything that I couldn't get done in the American Constitution, I'm doing in this. And there's stuff in there about Jews having rights. There's even something about gay people in there. Like he was into like gay rights, Jews.
It's pretty gay back then.
It's pretty gay, pretty Jewish.
It's gay to be a gay Jew.
It's gay to be into Jews.
Yeah.
Dude, to be into Jewish rights in the 1700s was gay.
Those parliaments
undeniably gay.
Undeniably
crazy
gay.
Back then. Like, I don't know, what about Jews? People are like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah,
It's
what are
like,
you
come
talking
on,
about,
guys.
Jews?
Back then, have a room full of dude in powder wigs being like, boo.
Yeah.
Like,
And the Jews looked exactly they looked the same as they do now. The big black coats,
exact same outfits.
same outfit, same bed.
Hold on, I got what Adams did. While he was in office, he was worried that his logic was another country could just come take this at any moment. So he came up with the Alien and Sedition Act, which meant if you talk shit on the government, we can jail you. So he started arresting journalists. He started
because he was the first liberal who got befuddled by guys. Back then it was another Democrat. It was Jefferson.
Yeah,
going like whatever it takes to win.
Yeah,
it's always been like the different parts of American democracy, the different kinds of people, the people who are like, we got to get this right, we got to sell our good ideas and convince people we're right, but then the other guys who are like, we just got to take office, we just need to win, and nerds lose that fight. Adams was the first one-term nerd president. There's a few of them.
Yes, you're exactly right.
Bush the first is another one.
He's a one-term guy. He was from 97 to 01.
Yep.
Let's move to Jefferson.
He's number 3.
That's 01 to 09. He was a 2-term guy. Adams was a Federalist. Washington was obviously independent. Jefferson was a Democratic Republican. He was the first Mr. President. Right when he got in, the French and the British started going to war. So everybody in America was like, fuck England. Also, France just helped us.
Yeah.
Fuck England. Let's join it. And he
loved the French. He loved the revolution in French.
Yeah, he did.
The Adams didn't, because it was bloody and horrible.
And he didn't like the French.
He didn't, and Jefferson loved the revolution, and he had all his friends over there. He spent a lot of his life there.
Yeah. But Americans started being like, fuck England. Let's join France in the war. He was the only one with the foresight to be like, we have 40 guys in our military and 3 boats.
Yeah.
Let's shut the fuck up.
Was not.
So he declared neutrality, and everybody called him a pussy. Then England started blocking his like fucking ships. I think he might have been the one who said, we're just not going to trade with either of them. So then the American economy just plummeted. England started just saying, if you're not trading with us, we're just going to confiscate your ships, kidnap all the sailors, make them join the British Navy. What? So he was getting punked by England.
You're talking about Jefferson. Well, it's interesting because Adams, what ended his presidency was a fake rumor that Jefferson started, that Adams was trying to start a war with and start a navy and do all this stuff, and it was all fake. But then it ended up kind of haunting Jefferson because the truth about all that ended up fucking him a lot. Huh. One thing interesting about Jefferson is because he's so famous for having had a slave and having had like 50,000 slaves, or whatever, not that many. And having had children with his slave, and I don't think he ever even gave her freedom. He didn't free
the kids.
He didn't free a couple. He freed a couple.
Freed 2.
Yeah,
and the rest he kept enslaved until he died. And what was interesting about them?
Damn, he did the ultimate because I said so.
His son, like, Dad, can I stop being a slave? He's like, no. I said no. They were like white.
Really?
His slave children, the woman that he
Sally.
had kids with, Sally, was like half white, or like was very light skinned.
Yeah, I think her mother was in his family for a long time.
And his dad was fucking like,
yes.
I mean, it was like,
what?
She was kind of a product of his father.
I'm not sure about that. I'm not sure about that. But it's an interesting thing about him in terms of slavery and American politics is that his first elected position was in the Virginia legislature. He was like a House of Reps guy in Virginia, and the very first thing he ever did as a politician was to propose a bill in the Virginia government to abolish slavery in the state of Virginia. It was the first thing he did. Of course, it got shot down, but it was his his desire and his dream.
Yeah, because he was big on that with the French Revolution.
Yes,
With
and
Lafayette and
yes, and all of these guys, all of these early guys wanted slavery out, but there was no way the South was going to do it.
Yeah,
and they wanted the Southern, because the choice was to have like just 2 countries or 4 countries over here, or have a unified country and just deal with it.
Yeah,
we're going to have slavery, but create a framework.
Yeah,
where in the future, when it becomes possible, when things change, when things get more modern, we can get rid of it in the future.
And I could be wrong, but I think the North had abolished slavery early, like 1806, which is while Jefferson's in office. I could be wrong.
I don't know.
It was around the exact same time as England. In fact, maybe before.
Really?
The North. We were right. Us Northerners, we got it right.
A fun Jefferson story that I like is that when he was in Paris, he had this woman, a girlfriend named something Causeway or something. His wife died when he was pretty young, and she made him promise on her deathbed that he would never have another woman, which is a horrible thing to do.
Yeah, fuck,
to
man.
a young man that you're fucking.
Yeah, it's like
not even somebody to take care of the kids they had.
It's like, no, I promise.
Yeah, I know, but he's
oh, for sure.
So that was part of the reason that all of it, including Sally Hemings, that his loves were all secret, because he was ashamed of every woman that he loved after that.
That's hot.
And so there was a woman in Paris. She was a British painter, and her husband. She was a woman. She was married, but she was a painter, and she fell in love with Thomas Jefferson, and they were very much in love with each other. But then the way they broke up was very funny to me, because he wrote her these beautiful letters. She was in love with him. He was in love with her. But then the French, when he was leaving France, they wanted a great portrait of him to put in the National Gallery. And they said to him, you can choose any painter in the world. And he was like, no, I want, a real guy. His girlfriend was like, why not me? And he's like, baby, come on. I mean,
you're good. You're good,
but you're not like fucking grown man good. You're not like fucking, I'm not for history.
True. These guys were that's the weirdest thing, how history mind. They were like knowing they were going to get sucked into history, which is crazy to think about.
So here's a good one, because we got to speed up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he goes over. So Napoleon's in there in France.
Yeah.
Post-revolution. This is the Louisiana Purchase. They sent James Monroe over. That was his bro. He goes to France. They thought they were negotiating the sale of just the port of New Orleans. This is all thanks in part to the fucking Haitian Revolution, which fucked France. Look into the Haitian Revolution. Yeah. It rules. He gets over there. Monroe finds out, they're trying to sell all of the Louisiana. Like, it's from New Orleans to the Rockies to Canada. It's huge. From the Appalachians to the Rockies, basically. And they didn't have time to consult Congress. So Thomas Jefferson just bought it on the spot, which he was like, I abused the fuck out of my power. And that was his whole thing, is government should have no power.
Yeah.
He was against any federal.
Well, that's what Jefferson's whole life was like, doing fucked up things and then saying nobody should be able to, like, saying slavery. He's like, people that need to stop having slaves. He's fucking a slave, and it's like, somebody's got to put a stop to this.
We got to stop this.
Somebody's got to stop this. Somebody's got to stop fucking these slaves.
Yeah.
Well, Louisiana
I wish it could be me,
got 6 kids.
but I need to fuck this one right now.
Those arguments must have been crazy. Dude.
All right.
But yeah, that was big, because that secured the southern port. And then we had
and Monroe was Secretary of State.
Monroe, yeah.
And then wasn't he the
no, Madison's next.
Because usually the Secretary of State would end up being president,
vice president at this point. Although was Jefferson Adams?
Jefferson was Adams's vice president.
Yeah, so that's 2 straight vice presidents. Then we got James Madison. He was a dork.
Yes,
he was a huge dork.
He was a nerd.
He was a frail, nervous. Think Gerbies.
What?
He was Gerbies.
Really?
But this is sick. So basically, he had the first. They said his lady was the first lady, Dolly Madison. That was like really like they would have parties at the White House. They would like try to get.
And also, he was Jefferson's mentor. He was another guy like Adams who was there all the time.
Yeah.
He was like a worker. He kept shit going, and he would write Jefferson and say in France and go, "Can you fucking come home and be president?" And Jefferson would write back and go, "I am just enjoying Paris, and I don't want to do it."
And
then he would float in and just take the fucking big job. And Madison gets 4 years, and people are like, "Dude, you're boring."
No,
America has never liked nerds.
Madison gets 2.
Don't touch me. Don't ever put your fucking hands on me.
I can't touch your
Don't
shoes out of respect.
Fucking hands on me.
I'm gonna grip you up.
God damn it.
Hold on. So Jefferson was shut the fuck up, guys. Shut up, guys.
Sean, get out.
Sean, don't look at me. So Madison takes some of the flack because everybody was calling Jefferson a pussy for not fighting England. So he's like, you know what? Fuck it. Let's do it.
What?
So America just declares war on England.
He nerd raged.
He nerd raged on England. England immediately marches down and burns Washington, D.C.
Burns it down.
They burnt the White House immediately.
He spaz cried.
But he spaz cries. He's like, nobody's going to call me gay. But then everybody always acts like we lost 1812 just because they burned that shitty White House.
Yeah.
So first off, Washington, D.C. was a swamp. It was literally a swamp. It was a shithole. No one lived there. War of 1812, we fucked England up. Fort McHenry, Star Spangled Banner, all that shit. Battle of New Orleans, we smashed them.
Battle of New Orleans was what's his name?
Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah.
And Jackson, they were fighting the Battle of New Orleans. The war had been already over for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the war was already settled.
Oh, yeah, they fought
the
it in
treaty was
1815.
signed.
It was in January of
and
1815.
he was still fighting.
Yeah.
Once you get to Jackson, he's incredible.
Wild.
Incredible.
Right. So
first Trump. He was the first Trump.
Yep.
So all of a sudden, America, that's our first war as a country.
Yeah.
So now America's not
before
just
that,
colonies.
because England was just taking pot shots. England would just park a ship outside of like a Baltimore or whatever, and just start heaving fucking fireballs for no reason. Like
dickheads,
do you know Hudson, New York? It's a town on the Hudson. It has a weird maritime feeling to it. It looks like Nantucket. And that's because it's all people from Nantucket. It used to be this little whaling village in Nantucket. And in the 1810s, the British would just park a ship and just set houses on fire for fucking fun.
What?
So all the people that lived in that town founded Hudson. And they would go out and whale in the ocean. And then they'd drag a whale up the Hudson River.
Holy shit.
And they would slaughter it and then send it down the river. It was a great way to send whale meat and oil down to here, New York City. Yeah. And that established a hub in New York, an upper New York State. Hudson became a very big, important. And that's where you ever heard of a guy named Legs Diamond? Because Diamond Street was like the first whore street.
It sounded like
Hudson became a place for farmers to bring their herds and get laid and get, just fuck and gamble and have their animals slaughtered and brought down here on boats, and then they home.
Got paid. Damn.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what was going on. That's how much things like just the one English ship lobbing fireballs changes a ton of things.
Yeah, some
and they finally needed it to stop.
Resulted in some guy getting head. Like, I'm never going to be able to face me wife.
Me wife.
So.
Okay, so now you got.
Now we're kind of unified. That was the first time.
Madison.
The War of 1812. It was a draw. I mean, they signed a treaty after 2 years.
Nothing changed, though.
Nothing changed.
The English stopped harassing us.
Yeah, but we declared war. They came over.
Yeah.
We kind of fucked them up, though. I looked at the casualty numbers. It was like double.
That doesn't matter in the historical
Of course. But everybody always acts like, because they got over here and they all died of disease kind of immediately. Like, they got fucked up.
It was hard to.
And they were like, we can't afford to fight this while we're fighting the French. Truce. That brings us to Monroe. Monroe was kind of the man. Monroe was the last founding father to be a president, fought in the Revolutionary War, was at Valley Forge. He came up with the Monroe Doctrine, which is neutrality. We got the Americas. Nobody fuck with us. Because they were all worried Europe was going to Spain or Europe was going to come back and take South
that was
America.
all the source of all our problems was these other fucking European countries being involved in their wars. So he was the first guy to go,
yeah, we're never going to go get involved in their wars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what they were saying was that's like the most lasting policies of any of the founding fathers was like American neutrality. Europe, you can have your wars. We're staying the fuck out. Obviously, it lasted 100 years. Added Florida. Monroe got Florida from the Spanish.
Nice.
So the reason that happened, though, was because of Jackson. Because Jackson was taking his troops to Florida, and Monroe was sending a guy on a horse, or I don't know if they had telegrams yet, but it'd take them 8 days to say, leave Florida alone. We're trying to negotiate price. But finally, Monroe decided we don't want Florida anymore. They're asking the Spanish owned it. We can't afford to buy it. I can't justify it. I'm not going to get it through Congress. And Jackson was writing back and saying, I'm just going to take it. I'm just going to take it militarily. I'm going to attack them. And Monroe said, no, you may not. I'm the president. You may not do that. And Jackson just ignored him.
Started attacking
and he
him.
did it.
What?
He took Florida, and then he showed up in D.C. and was like, right? That was good, right? And Monroe's like, yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, he's like, but also I bought it.
Good job. Yeah, also I think
He
we
paid for it.
We paid for it, and it was a mess.
While Jackson was like fucking with them, the Spanish were like to Monroe, they were like, yeah, you can buy it.
He just went and killed him.
He was down fighting them, and he was like,
yeah.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna sell it.
There's two generals that did that. Him and MacArthur did that too. Just did shit without permission.
Yeah.
And then showed up and said, right, Mr. President, wasn't that the plan
That was
all
pretty
along?
good.
And he was like, yes, it was the plan all along. Whatever you want. Whatever you want.
So you got that, but this is interesting because Monroe was the first part that this is where the slavery issue starts to take real issue because it was the Missouri Compromise. So Missouri was becoming a state; it was another slave state, pro-slavery.
Yeah. So every time they added a slave state, they'd have to add a free slave,
free one to
really?
make sure it was balanced.
Yeah.
So that's when we added Maine. Missouri got to be a slave state. That's it for him. John Quincy Adams.
Yeah, so John Quincy Adams was Secretary of State. John Quincy Adams had a big role in Florida.
Yeah.
And he had a big role in that compromise. That was a big part. He was a statesman. John Quincy Adams, fucking fascinating guy. I read his biography. The thing about him and his father is that they wrote copious, really long diary entries, so we know a lot about those guys. But he traveled with his father to England. He was like the last link to the Great Revolution. Yeah, because he was with his father wherever he went, and he took him to France. He ended up being a diplomat. He was the first American ambassador to Russia. He lived in St. Petersburg, Russia, and him and his.
Oh wait, was he the one who helped them kind of revolutionise?
I don't.
Or was that before?
Remember that?
Okay.
I mean, but he was in Russia way back then. And he'd take like a sleigh to countries that aren't there anymore, like Prussia, and he traveled all over. He traveled more than any like human being back then, and he went across the ocean several times. So like something like 12 times back and forth.
Now
amazing guy, incredible guy.
His opponent was Jackson in this election.
Yeah,
Jackson dominated. He won the popular vote by a greater margin than Reagan beat Carter. It was a landslide victory for him. But Jackson, in the Battle of New Orleans, came out and said all the guys from Kentucky were being fucking cowards. What? So then when it comes to the Electoral College, the guy counting the votes happened to be like a senator or something from Kentucky.
What?
And I was like, fuck this guy. And he just swung like 10 states. Because back then the Electoral College made perfect sense. Nobody in any state had ever heard of one of these guys. Mm-hmm. There was no news. There was no fucking anything.
Now you needed somebody. Yeah, you needed super delegates.
You needed
to
just get your local guy. Yeah. And be like, you
go figure it out.
Yes.
Yeah.
But that was enough for this guy to swing all these dudes in the meetings to be like, dude, Jackson's a fucking dickhead. We need John Quincy Adams. So he swung. I mean, it was
John Quincy Adams was another nerd, one-term nerd.
Yes.
Who just couldn't get, I mean, as a president, he couldn't get, and he got almost nothing done. Partly because Jackson and his people just thwarted every single thing he tried.
The whole country loved Jackson.
Everybody fucking loved that dude.
He was Trump.
So much.
He was Trump.
Imagine if Trump like dueled as much as
Jesus Christ.
Jackson died with
dudes.
something like 12 bullets in his body.
Yeah.
What?
That never left his body. He dueled all the time.
Yeah, let's just go straight to Jackson. Jackson, he's the next president.
He can't not be mentioned, John Quincy.
JQA.
Yeah, fuck John Quincy.
John Quincy Adams, well, after his presidency, he was in Congress forever from Massachusetts. Yeah. He died at his seat in Congress. Wow. He died at his desk. He was because his thing, he was a huge abolitionist. He was like the only guy in the Congress willing to be an out and out. The slave states had so much power that they passed a gag law that said you can't say the word slavery in Congress. It used to be, there was a thing in Congress back then called petitioning. anyone could send a petition to their congressperson, and they had to mention it. So like you could send a thing to Congress saying, I want retards to be allowed to drive, whatever you would do. I want retarded people to have driver's license.
Yes.
And he would say, he'd have to go, okay, the petition from Shane Gillis, he wants retards to drive.
The honorable.
And everyone would go, I move to table it, and then they just table it. But they passed a law saying you couldn't even mention a petition that said the word slavery, because that's how electrified it was. Like, we don't want anybody. We know you're trying to get rid of slavery. We don't even want you to say. And they passed it. So Quincy Adams would do it, and he would just break the law, and he would just say it over and over again. He would read petitions about slavery, and he would get sent. Then they would all vote, the whole Congress, to censure him for going against the rules, and he got censured over and over again. And he represented the Amistad slaves and got them set free. Yeah, did you know that?
No.
Yeah, he was the slave ship that was taken over by slaves and was grounded in Massachusetts, I think.
So he was saying the S word. He got in trouble.
Yeah, he got not only in trouble. Those slaves asked him to represent that. He was their lawyer. What? Because they were Virginia slave masters who were they were Haitian slaves that they were waiting for, that they had paid for. But he found a way it wasn't like a slavery is wrong trial. It was, you guys don't have a receipt trial. It was like, you ain't got the paperwork, go fuck yourselves. So they were free. But he died. He was in the middle of a big impassioned argument. He was yelling, and he had a heart attack. And he died right there with the whole Congress around him,
watching
because people loved that guy.
Yeah,
he was a great guy. He was the first president or former president to ride on a steamship, and he used to ride on the steamships with a blanket over him, and folks would surround him. All the passengers would surround him, and he would just tell stories. He was a great guy.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Man, I didn't know any of that.
There's just a part of me that liked Jackson.
Jackson's great, but I mean, and again, to me, I look at all these guys. I evaluate them as characters. They're all great, amazing characters. They all did awful things,
of course.
Yeah,
but I mean, Obama fucking bombed, fucking weddings.
Obama.
But yes, Jackson was a crazy but shrewd. A great thing about Jackson was that his inaugural party in the White House.
Yeah, this is wild.
They
stormed the Capitol.
He invited everybody. That's exactly right. He invited everyone. He said, anyone that wants can come. No invitation needed. It's the people's house, and the house was crammed with common people getting drunk, stealing shit,
destroyed,
and they wouldn't leave. And there's a honor code in the White House. You don't ask someone to leave. You don't ever throw anybody out. So they couldn't get them. Like, days went by where people are shitting on the floor and raiding the fucking pantry and just fucking people and whatever.
What?
And so what they did was they got huge kegs of beer and they put them on the lawn. And they said, "Hey, come out. Let's drink under the stars. Let's have, And they invited them out for beer on the lawn, and they all came outside and they locked the doors. That was how he was a people's president.
Yeah,
like
he was the first populist
in his
first guy. Yeah,
first one to appeal to the common person. Yeah. There was an author, English guy. I read his biography of him, and they have one account of an English traveling writer who would write travel logs. And he was in Washington, and he thought, what is it like? Can you meet the president? And he just walked. There wasn't a fence around the house.
Yeah, people just could walk in. And
so he just walked to the front door, and he knocked on the door. And a butler came to the door and said hello. And he said, I'd like to meet the president. And he's like, is he expecting you? He goes, no. And the butler's like, all right, well, come in and sit down. And he went in. The guy waited like 20 minutes. And Jackson came out of his office, which was like full of people, and he said, I'm in a pretty important, like, who are you?
Yeah.
And he said, I just wanted to meet you and say hi. And he was like, all right, can you wait an hour? And he's like, sure. So he went and whatever, fucking signed a thing to kill all the Indians.
Yeah.
And then he came and had sandwiches brought, and he sat with the guy and just talked to him for an hour.
Damn.
He also he was the first president, I think, to ride on on a train. He took a train. He was the first one to do this, that he went all over the country.
Yeah.
He went up to Maine. Presidents never travel. He was the first guy to do that. Like, he thought people should see the president. People should have contact with the president.
The Trail of Tears, he flubbed that one.
Yeah,
flubbed.
He was a bit of a flub. He did do exactly what his goal was.
What he tried to do. He fucking flubbed.
That was a bit of a flub.
He was not. He didn't make mistakes.
I looked it up. I don't know if they had slaves.
Yeah.
The fucking dudes on the Trail of Tears, they were like, we got to bring our slaves.
If slaves are available, folks get slaves. That's just the way that goes.
I couldn't believe it.
But when he was
peaceful
natives. Yeah, that's what the part you don't hear is like the Indians are like, you know what he did to us, and what he did to our slaves was even worse.
Our slaves had it real bad on the Trail of Tears.
I mean, tell me about it.
Yeah, but didn't they like share everything with their slaves though?
I don't know. Yeah, they were way better.
It was egalitarian.
Real peaceful.
It was egalitarian, dude.
They were some of those good slave owners. The natives.
There's some story from some big chief went to the White House to meet with Jackson, because Jackson was very honest.
Yeah.
He didn't underhand ever. He didn't play politics. He did horrible things, but he just went ahead and did them. Like, there was a slave revolt during his presidency where they took over a fort. The slaves took over a fort and just said, we just want out. We just want to be taken to the north or Canada or whatever. And so he just got a bunch of cannons and just lit the whole place up. Killed
bombed them.
He didn't fucking care. So some famous, like a name you'd recognize, it wasn't like Sitting Bull, but it was some big, all of the Indians, all the tribes chose this guy to negotiate with Jackson. And he went and talked to Jackson, just the two of them, and he came out crying and said,
"What?
We're in trouble."
Yeah, he says, "We're not. This is gonna go bad. This is gonna go bad." No, he just had his way of thinking about how it was gonna go. He's like, "No, we got to clear these guys out of here."
Also in line with Trump, he was like, "This is where the term mudslinging starts."
Yeah,
it was him and John Quincy. Their election or their debates and shit was. He would just talk. They would talk shit. There would be nasty rumors in the papers.
Whatever it took.
Yeah.
Whatever it took. No, I remember. I have a friend who's a Trump guy who I've known for a long time. I'm not going to say that his name is Nick DiPaolo. But knowing Nick has always given me some insight into the mentality of that kind of guy. Not just Trump, but guys like Jackson. I remember once I was with Nick and a lot of people, and he was and like three Democrats were yelling at him, and he was starting to say crazy fucked up things to them. And at one point I'm like, Nick, you know that's wrong. And he goes, it's 3 against 1. like what do you want me to do? Like, he's in and it gave me and then it brought me back to when I was like 19 and I was friends with Nick, and we were comedians in Boston, and there was a pinball machine we really liked playing at this one club. So we're playing pinball against each other. And when it was my turn, I was starting to beat his score, and he just put his hand over my hand so I couldn't flip. And he just looked at me like this, and I'm like, really? And he goes, yeah, I win. I win. I don't care.
But Jackson, was big too.
Jackson was the first. Yeah, he was a football player. A college football player. Jackson was the first president to go like, fuck you, I'm winning. I'm winning this. I don't care what happens to you. We're gonna, you know.
So he also, one of the big things with Jackson, he vetoed more bills than every president before him combined.
Nice.
He hated the banks. He like went to war.
It's crazy that he's on the 20.
Yeah.
It's like a joke because he hated the idea of a central bank. He hated the idea of a treasury. He thought that it should just be folks have their money, use gold, and you trade. And he wanted.
So I think the U.S. bank at the time, I think it was called the United States, like the Bank of the United States, was up for to be renewed. Mm-hmm. And he just happened to be the president, and he vetoed it.
Yeah, and it was a thing you don't veto.
You can't veto it.
No, but
he vetoed it. So then the next guy, we'll get to him, is his vice president, Van Buren. He takes over. Mm-hmm. He takes over a completely destroyed economy because he vetoed the bank.
That's the way it goes. Cool guys. America is made of cowboys and nerds. So you got cowboys who show off and who show what kind of people we are, and then you have nerds who actually get things done. But the cowboys get the credits.
Yeah.
And then nerds get fucked every time.
He got fucked. His nickname was Van Ruin.
Yes. He had a lot of nicknames.
Like,
Old Kinderhook. He was another total nerd, and everybody hated Van Buren. He was like a little fucking
He was supposed to be. I think he was one of those vice presidents that was supposed to be a link, like because Jackson was the man in the South, kind of, or wherever, and they were like, "Let's get this dork to."
He was from Kinderhook, New York.
He was his Pence.
Yeah.
He was Trump's Pence.
Yeah,
he was. The legend is that he was one of the first people to have pamphlets, like a lot of pamphlets, like the press, like the mass press started to get big. So his pamphlet was because he was called Old Kinderhook because he's from Kinderhook, New York. So his thing was OK, and it was a check mark.
Oh, nice.
And that's where people say that OK comes from.
What?
Yeah.
Because it was like his thing was you OK with a check mark. That was the point. It was like vote for Old Kinderhook.
That's the thing. That's the thing. When you look into this, that's where all of our shit comes from.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's all of this. All right. Well, we got to speed up because this one's funny. Van Buren sucked, whatever.
Yeah,
Here comes Harrison. He's the next guy. Everybody called him Old Granny because he was too much of a geezer to run. So on his inauguration, he was like, I'm going to prove to everyone how tough I am.
Yeah.
It was freezing cold and raining. He had like an 8,000 word inauguration.
Yeah.
He got a pneumonia and died.
He died. He was like a few months.
He died immediately. Like
shortest term. Died.
Damn.
Shortest term.
Didn't have a minute of acting as
trying to prove he was tough.
Got sick the first day.
Died immediately.
And died a few months later.
What?
Yep.
G.
That brings us to Tyler. He did nothing.
Tyler was
his
general,
party abandoned him.
No, I'm thinking of Taylor.
He was Harrison's vice president. So Harrison dies. The one thing he did do is set the precedent that the vice president stays as president.
Nice.
So everyone was like, "What? We don't know what to do here. The president's never died. Do you take over as an interim guy until we find a new guy?" And he was like, "No, I'm just the president."
I'm the president.
And enough that his party hated him for that. So his own party abandoned him. They didn't put him up for re-election.
Well, because they thought they should choose another guy.
They wanted to be able to put another
stronger guy.
Yeah. So he stayed. He had no parties supported him. He got nothing done. He was never up for re-election again.
It must have been awkward.
That brings us to our guy, though. This is who I wanted to get to. Polk, dude. Turns out Polk's the man.
Really?
Yeah. Dude.
I know nothing about Polk.
No.
He was one term because he was a dark horse out of nowhere, and he promised everybody in his party, I'll only do one term. That way, some of you guys that are good, that are getting ready, you can take over. I promise to do one term. When he was running, his opponent's slogan was, "Who is James K. Polk?" Like, people were talking shit. As soon as he got in, oh, this is good. He was a tiny guy. He was 5'8", which was like...
That's really small.
Yeah, he was 5'8", and when he got in, his wife was the one who came up with, they got to play Hail to the Chief every time you come in a room to give you some respect.
Give him a little,
Yeah, so that's why that happens.
Nice.
So right away, Polk starts going
But
wild.
it was kind of a joke. It's like if a midget walked in.
Everybody
goes, it's just a little guy.
No, Polk's a beast. Immediately, he starts fucking with the British about Oregon. So they have the Oregon Territory out there, which is just beaver hunting. Everybody's, beaver hunting. We're doing a little bit of that in Nash Vegas.
What do you mean?
It means trying to get pussy.
About pussies.
Hunting in Oregon for...
They were in Oregon, pussy hunting. So the British were pussy hunting. The British and Americans were both pussy hunting on the same territory. And Polk was like, "Nah, we're done with that." And he set the latitude and longitude was 54 and 40. So he came out with the slogan 54 and 40 or fight. He was saying that to the British. He was like, "We're gonna fuck you guys up."
True.
So he came out with that, and the British
people were really into
they loved
latitudes
slogans.
and longitudes.
They were.
Back then.
So he called that. And the British were afraid to call his bluff. They were just like, "Fine, take it."
Like, that slogan is so good.
Yeah, like,
just take it.
Fuck, dude, this guy's
Dude,
nuts.
you came up with the fucking. You used the longitude and latitude.
So he takes that territory, which is huge, and then it's not just Oregon, it's Washington, all that.
You know why Oregon is Portland is called Portland?
I bet you I do.
It was kind of. Do you?
No, it's not.
It was going to be Boston.
What?
Because there's two guys. Is it Lewis and Clark?
Yeah.
So one of them is
that was Jefferson.
One of them is from Boston, and one of them is from Portland, Maine. And they both wanted to name it after their hometown.
Oh.
And they flipped a coin and named it Portland. And there is a Boston in Oregon. There's a town called Boston, Oregon. Anyway, go on.
So after he gets Oregon,
yeah.
he's like, "All right, it's time for me to get Texas." He starts fucking with the Mexicans. Like, they would send troops down just to see if the Mexicans would shoot first. Finally, they did. He immediately
lazy Mexicans.
Finally, they shot
so
a bunch
many
of
times to get off their fucking frijoles and fire a shot.
So they go to war.
Here they come again. I don't want to fire.
I'm too busy drinking
one of them was
tequila.
70,000 troops poured in.
Oh no!
So we immediately took California, Arizona, New Mexico, Utah, Texas.
And then who was the general? Who was the general that penetrated all the way to Mexico City? This is later, right?
This was the next guy who was Zachary Taylor.
Yeah, Zachary Taylor was the big Mexican American war guy.
Yeah, he was the war hero.
What?
Zachary Taylor was dominating.
So they gathered.
He went into Mexico City, and if you go to in Mexico City, the big thing is Los Niños. These 6, I think it's 4 or 6 kids. So they stormed. They went all the way to Mexico City, and the citadel, the Chapultepec, the palace. The army was so decimated that it was finally just the cadets of the military school were the only ones defending the capital. And they were just 4 kids firing on the American army is just coming. Fuck. And they wrapped themselves in Mexican flags and jumped and dove and killed themselves. That was how they ended the war. Awesome. And the moment is Zachary Taylor's holding one of them and he's saying they were just kids. Like he had no idea they were like fucking 12, 15 years old. Man. And in Chapultepec there's 4 big pillars that are still they're like war heroes.
That's pretty awesome.
Yeah. What did Mexico have back then? Was it like a king or like
a lot of they had Mexico. So what was going on all these years? Napoleon assumed that the South would win the Civil War eventually. That there would be Europe always bet on the South because the South was a aristocratic. America. It was about plantations and old families, and that's a European. And they loved Europe in the South. The North was always against Europe and wanting to start something new. So during the Civil War, Maximilian was just a Habsburg. But the way kings worked back then, there were some royalty factories. So the Habsburg family, who I think were like Flemish or whatever the fuck. They just had like a cousin of a king. They went Maximilian and his wife. They're like, you guys take Mexico. Napoleon sent French troops to Mexico and installed Maximilian. But then
which is what Cinco de Mayo is.
Yes, and then the Mexicans finally overran because when we lost the Civil War, when we lost the Civil War, I don't know what made me say that. No, when the South lost the Civil War, Napoleon was like, "All right, fuck this."
Well, wait, Napoleon was gone for this,
or whoever the French pulled their. Well, there was like 3 Napoleons.
Oh, true.
Right.
I think it was a later Napoleon.
Wow. Yes,
pulled support.
Yeah,
and Maximilian. They beheaded him.
Fuck.
They fed peyote to his wife and sent her home. And there's some little village somewhere in like the Netherlands where they tell you like she's going to come get you because she would run in the streets. She went insane. She would run the streets screaming. Fuck. And they tell kids if you don't get to sleep because she comes out at night. If you don't go to sleep, she's going to come get you. So that's how far in Mexico. Dude, I'm sorry to derail you, but so
great.
Zachary, so you were still at Polk and then Taylor.
Polk, but still. So one thing that was cool was when Polk was instigating this war with Mexico.
You got to cut that part where I say we lost.
No, that's good.
Cut that. I don't know what made me say that.
Immediately. This is pretty sick. So Polk was up there like, they're fucking with us. They shot at our troops. An old one-term senator from Illinois at the time stood up and said, were we on their territory when we shot him? There was one guy that was opposed to the Mexican-American War. A guy by the name of Abraham Lincoln.
Really?
Abraham Lincoln,
people were like, hey, shut up, pussy.
Yeah, dude.
We're trying to take Texas. Shut the fuck up.
He's like, you guys, were we? I'm like, shh. Yeah, he was like, sorry.
Like, I think this was wrong. Like, anyway, that's why Polk's kind of the man. He added 1/3 of the entire United States in a 4-year term.
Damn.
Pretty good. Well, in territory.
I know, but still.
It's like those big states.
But you got Texas and California.
And they were just sitting
probably
on
half our population.
True. And they were sitting on the border.
I wish he hadn't added them. Especially Texas.
The troops are sitting there being like, Mexico sucks. Mexico fucking sucks.
Just go. Oh, shit, run. They're pissed.
Yo, Mexico's gay.
again, that was a smashing. America destroyed Mexico. It was mean. It was mean.
Yeah, it's not nice.
Then this is good. Polk, he was working his tail off.
His tail.
He was tired. He was so exhausted when he got done. He went back to Tennessee and just died.
Like right away, right?
Yeah.
He died, yeah.
He was like, that was too much. I should have done
a lot
all
of work. Yep.
Just died. So then comes Zachary Taylor. This is 1849 to 1850. That's a quick term. Old Rough and Ready.
Yeah.
Pretty sick nickname.
Old dead and
yeah, he's old. He's about to be dead.
Yeah, he died. I don't remember what he died of.
He was
just being in the 1800s.
Yeah. He was one of the largest slaveholders in the South. So when he got elected, the South was like nice because at this point, the territories, he just added. Polk did all that in 4 years, which was sick, but it was too much because now there's so much territory and the slaves versus the abolitionist debate. Every state they had to add. There was a debate. There was a debatey.
All Southern presidents, so many Southern presidents.
Yeah.
I mean, outside of the Adamses.
Pretty much nonstop. Virginia.
Yep.
And then it gets into like Tennessee and.
They started digging into their bench was not
they
good
get
enough.
to Tennessee, dude.
And then we started kind of with Ohio. We started coming back.
Yeah.
Huh.
Actually, kind of northern presidents tended to suck. Lincoln ruled.
Yeah, but he was Kentucky, Illinois.
Yeah.
Illinois
We'll
before
take that one.
which
I always
state
forget
is it?
one. I think he was born in Kentucky in a log cabin in Kentucky.
And then he was the
Then he was the
Illinois. Then he moved to
Illinois,
Illinois.
yeah.
Who fucking knows? There's no way to know.
We weren't right about
Nobody
half
will
these.
ever know,
We were never
really.
correct about half these facts, but we're having fun.
Oh yeah, I could be. I love
Yeah,
just
who cares?
acting like I know.
It's great. So one thing, Taylor gets in there. Everybody's like nice. Everybody in the South's like nice. This guy's pro-slavery. He gets in. He tends to start actually leaning towards standing with the North. This is all leading to the Civil War because like guys like this start fucking this up. As soon as he says we're going to abolish slave in the Western territories, South Carolina says they're going to succeed. Taylor says he's going to fucking hang everybody down there if they do it.
What?
Yeah, he didn't react well to stuff.
No.
He wasn't like, let's talk and send it
Yeah, he
over
was like,
there.
we're going to fucking
He would
hang
just
all of
say
you.
that, and then they're like, are you? And he's like, well, no, but
I'm going to hang a lot of you.
the problem with tough talk. Yeah.
This is how he died.
What do you do?
So he went. This is his
By doing
first
a
term.
podcast about. All right, go ahead. How did he die?
He went to Washington D.C. for Independence Day, and he ate too many cherries and milk.
What?
Because, like I said, it was a swamp, so there was like a cholera
That was like
outbreak.
the old Pop Rocks and Coke.
Yeah, he had cherries and frosted milk, and,
And that was
he
it?
exploded.
Damn, it must have been delicious.
By the way, you know how many there were 4 presidents? When you think about the fact that 4 of them were assassinated,
Yeah.
4?
Well, successfully. Yeah, I hear you.
4 were killed,
Shot,
and killed.
Yeah.
4 out of 40. There's been 47 presidents.
10%.
Wait, hold on. How many got shot and killed? I don't think they got shot and killed.
Yeah, 4 were shot and killed. Is it Garfield?
See,
No.
This is where I stopped.
A guy with a G. It's either Grover Cleveland or Garfield. One of those two was shot and killed.
Yeah.
McKinley shot and killed. JFK and Lincoln.
Nice.
4 shot and killed. Reagan fucking
Close.
badly shot.
Yeah.
Roosevelt, Teddy, shot in the chest.
Bull.
But had a thick piece of paper with his speech
Fuck,
and a
that's so
glasses
cool,
case.
man.
Finished the speech, dude.
Yep, finished the speech.
Got shot and was like,
And somebody shot at Andrew Jackson.
Yeah.
you got
And he had a cane and he beat the shit out of the guy. I almost beat him to death. The guy shot him and he just, get the fuck. It was right outside the Capitol.
What?
Like by the big pillars or whatever.
Yeah.
And he just beat the fucking shit out of him.
Dude who shot.
Yeah, he was insane. Old Hickory.
Were they
Yes.
all crazed lone gunmen type things, or was it like?
Yeah, most of them were crazy people. There's a few other guys that were shot at that
Yeah,
somebody
sure.
took shots at them, and but that they didn't get hurt. Oh, what's his name? Well, FDR. They killed the governor who was sitting next to him. A spray of bullets, and he wasn't hurt, but the governor sitting next to him was killed.
Jesus.
Governor of Georgia or Florida, I don't fucking know. Anyway, go on. But yeah, like over 10%, like 12% of them have been shot.
Yeah.
That's
So it's an
crazy.
intense job.
It's pretty intense.
It takes. There's a good chance.
It is like a higher rate than actual soldiers in war.
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know.
It's probably.
I guess so.
I bet
Yeah.
it is.
Might
That's
be
fucked up.
Yeah, because in like regular like revolution shit, it's like 70,000 soldiers, 2,000 dead.
What's crazy
Shit
is
like that.
But before it used to be like when you like what's his name, Alexander the Great and whoever. Some kings used to lead, heads of state used to lead charges. They used to be the front horse, like going right headlong into an army.
That'd be nice to be a
Yeah,
guy
a lot of
holding
Roman
a spear, like,
Roman guys did that. And,
jackpot.
Yeah, I fucking got him.
Holy shit!
got
He's
the
coming
king.
right at me. He's coming right
Oh,
at me.
I'm
just
fuck!
some-
I blew
I'm
it.
just some guy.
Fuck! I
shepherd.
missed.
Yeah.
All right, so now we're at Fillmore. The thing that sucks about fucking Taylor dying is he was like kind of a beast that could have maybe prevented the Civil War that was looming.
And then Fillmore was just a schlub.
Fillmore was a schlub. He signed. This is where it all starts to fuck up. Every single one of these guys up to Lincoln is just fucking up immensely. He wanted to
passing
sign
the buck and passing the buck.
So Taylor was offered to sign the Compromise of 1850, which was some shit about one slave state, one regular, or they get to decide, shit like that. As soon as fucking Taylor died, Fillmore takes over and signs it. Southerners were mad that California would join as a free state. Northerners were mad about the fugitive slave law. So they both compromised and were both pissed. Fugitive slave law was if you find a slave in the North, there's U.S. Marshals that'll catch them and bring them back to the South.
You have to help them get them back.
And
really?
there were dudes that were just like grabbing black people. Be like, got him. Where's my bounty? So
That's
it
how the
was
12
bad.
years a slave guy got taken.
Oh shit, is it?
Yeah, he was a free Northerner who
Somebody
just
just
got grabbed
kidnapped
by
him.
one of those guys.
Damn.
It was bad.
Happened all the time.
He was the last member of the Whig Party. They didn't run him a second term. Here comes Franklin Pierce. He was pals with Jackson, son of a Revolutionary War hero. He's from the North, but he was pro-slavery. They thought this was going to work. 2 months before this is crazy. 2 months before his inauguration, he and his family were in a train crash, and the only casualty was his 11-year-old son.
Damn.
So his entire time in office, he's blacked out, drunk, and depressed. He's the saddest guy of all time. He's not listening. His kid just died. His wife blamed him for the death constantly. She was like, we should have never been on that train. You just had to be the fucking president.
Oh,
You
man.
gave birth to him, bitch.
Yeah.
You didn't have to do that.
You were on the train. You had fun.
Yeah, dude. Fuck.
So he's there. During Pierce, they do the Transcontinental Railroad. This is like the real. This is a fuck up for the North wants it to be from Chicago to L.A. or one of those places out west. The South wants it to be from Atlanta to L.A. In order to get it done, they have to get rid of the Missouri Line Compromise, which made it nothing north or south of here was the slave line. They decided to make it so every new territory got to decide themselves. They got to vote in order to get the Transcontinental Railroad. So this opened.
Every single thing we did to build this nation ran into this slave problem.
Yes.
Every single thing we tried to do was like, yeah, but the fucking north-south slave, fucking slave states, non-slave states.
Jesus.
We need to build a railroad across. That's the first interstate
Yes.
thing. The first interstate objective.
Yeah.
It's the first thing that you need a federal government. It's why the federal government got stronger and stronger. Because every state gets to do their own thing, but you want to take a fucking train from one to the other, these two states have to make a compromise.
Yeah.
So you needed a federal government to make these.
It was like the precursor to union, non-union. They just blow up
Yeah,
a
yeah,
gigantic like inflatable rat.
Yeah. It's the other reason, just as a general thing, that the federal government became what gave the federal government power was the states wanting parity with each other. Like when environmental laws became a thing, they were state laws. So like Indiana would make a law, you can't dump, sludge into the river anymore. So every company in Indiana has to pay extra to do a better job of dumping their shit and take it to the ocean or somewhere else, ruin somebody else's life.
Yeah.
But so next door to Indiana is Illinois, and they're like, we dump anything we want, and so all the business goes there, and so the Illinois company's like, we don't want to dump, we don't want to hurt the environment, but we can't compete with these guys, right? So they would all the states would go to the Fed and say, please pass a law that affects everybody so that we can all do the right thing that we want to do without having to get squeezed out by this guy.
Yeah.
And that worked until we started doing shit with Mexico and India and China. But anyway, go on.
But yeah,
so,
Taylor. It was interesting to me. We're at I think Pierce, right? On the Transcontinental Railroad.
Yeah.
That turns out to be like that's what started it. I mean, obviously there's a ton of major factors, but that was like a big one because it opened what was called the Nebraska-Kansas Act, which is they got to decide to vote whether they were pro-slave or pro-abolition. So then a bunch of people just rushed in from the north and the south, and they started fucking killing each other.
What?
It was I forget the names. They were pretty sick. It was like the Free Staters versus the Border Ruffians. This is where John Brown and his son was out there.
Oh yeah.
They started hacking people with swords to death. Like
Jesus.
that was it. And Franklin Pierce was like, he did nothing. He didn't get involved.
Yeah, but dude, it must have been crazy when you had a bunch of slaves. Like, this is wrong. You had to be like, nah. You couldn't. It must have been crazy to be like, nah, I don't think it is.
Well, you just would pretend not to, or you just wouldn't. I mean, you'd see it on the newspaper was faded, and it was like, I don't know that much about it.
Just not being able to go down.
I'm
with
okay
that
to my slaves. I treat them okay.
Yeah, they're great.
True.
Yeah.
Right? Tell him. He's like, oh yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he was all right. No, it's fine. No, and meanwhile, the North was starting to get. I mean, this is getting after Pierce is who?
Buchanan.
So Buchanan is the guy who right before Lincoln.
Yes.
Right. Because the other thing that was going on is the North is industrializing, and the North is starting to build sweat houses and factories, and so part of the argument that people were having that is like the kind of argument we would have now. If it would be interesting to take this culture with Twitter and everything and supplant it to slavery days and how we would have handled that debate back then.
True.
Because there were people that were saying, the North has free workers and a ton of them immigrants that had started, and they're treated like garbage. They're living like shit, and they're dying in large numbers and getting sick, uneducated, and being not allowed to be educated.
Yeah.
Kids are working heavy,
There's a ton
long
of
shifts.
southern political cartoons that are like that.
That are about how bad they were. And like our slaves are like a member of the family.
Yeah.
We give them their own house with their plot of land. They get to do this and that. Most slave owners were better. That this is the argument.
Yeah.
And that the North was just like wholesale destroying lives.
Yeah.
And read what's his name? Fucking Upton Sinclair. Shit was going on in Chicago in the slaughterhouses.
What's it called?
It's
about the meat packing shit, right?
Yeah.
The jungle. What's it called?
The jungle.
Yeah.
So another important thing about that point of the industrialization of the North, it just flooded with immigrants. So now their population's so big that they get more votes, they get more electoral like all that. So now the South's like, we need to get power. So now we need more states. We need more states because otherwise they're going to abolish slavery and we're going to be poor.
But they're also hanging on to a way of life in the South.
Yeah.
And in the North, they're not. They're trying to do anything that's new and anything that's next and anything that's large amounts of money and large amounts of industry. And they're manufacturing in huge amounts. In the South, they're just trying to play a fiddle and whip a guy and grow a little tuft of cotton for one shirt every 6 months.
Yeah, true. It's a good thing to point out.
Yeah. It's important to know.
True.
Yeah, but that was the fight. It was an insanely different.
Yeah.
But we still wanted to be one country. We wanted to be one country. So it was this weird conflict that never went away.
So
I feel like, does it continue to morph till now? It's just like some dudes
it does.
chill,
we are.
Other dudes like, no, we need to talk about it.
Yeah.
It's kind of tight.
But so what's his name?
Now we're at James Buchanan, who's probably the worst.
Yeah,
I think
he was frozen by two. He had so much pressure.
He was a lawyer from Pennsylvania that was just about the law.
Yeah.
Which was the last thing he needed to be as the president, which was like, well, that's the rule.
But he had all of Lincoln's problems with none of his charisma and guts.
Yeah.
And blood.
That was
crazy,
James Buchanan had the Dred
willingness
Scott.
to kill.
Dred Scott was under James Buchanan, which was where, if you don't know about that was about a slave living in free territory, and he was suing to get his freedom. It went all the way up to the Supreme Court where they ruled he was an object, so he was not a citizen. Therefore, that ruling made sure every black person in America was an object and not a citizen. And Buchanan responded by saying, that's the law, that settles it. Instead of standing up, he just had to follow the law.
Yeah.
So he was just like an extension of the court.
Yeah.
That wasn't his job.
Yeah.
Man,
that brought us to Lincoln. And as soon as Lincoln gets elected, the South secedes.
Yeah, every state starts to say we're not America anymore. Like immediately before he takes office.
It's also crazy checking in on the headlines and you're like, nah, they said you're a chair basically. And you're like, fuck.
yeah, dude.
Yes.
Fuck.
You got Lincoln though. You know Lincoln.
Well, we could just maybe skip him because he'll be the whole fucking.
Yeah, we could stop.
I mean, look,
we could stop
Lincoln-
with Lincoln. Let's stop
True.
with Lincoln, and then you go on to some guys you're interested in after Lincoln.
All right.
Yeah, we're good. We
What
can
time-
go as long
how
as we
we've
want.
Been talking for?
An hour.
Okay. Well,
You're not
Lincoln-
enjoying this? You're not having the time of your life?
I'm having a great time.
I knew you would. This is
I'm
nice,
not
right?
having a great time.
You're not having a great time.
No, I'm not. I hate this.
Decent time.
Really?
No, I'm having a good time.
How much fun?
You decide which one. The thing I liked about, I mean, I gave you that book about Lincoln.
Yeah.
That's a great, what's his name? Carl Sandburg. It's a weird kind of stream of consciousness telling of Lincoln's story in 4 volumes. It's crazy. Just the war years, just from when he took office. And when he was coming here, there was everything, hell was breaking loose, and there was supposed to be a January 6th. There was supposed to be one.
What?
There was a plan to stop the certifying of the vote.
Mm-hmm.
And so they went to General, what was his name? He was the only American general then because we didn't fight wars anymore.
Yeah.
So the army was kind of like not, you know.
I think he was the commander.
It's a name you just know when you hear it. Like Scott something.
Oh, yeah, Winfield Scott.
Winfield Scott.
Yes.
Perfect.
So they went to Winfield Scott, the guys running the government, and then they said, we think there's going to be this thing where they're going to try to stop the so he said, if anyone, made a declaration, publicly, he said, if anyone tries to stop the counting of the votes and the democratic process from happening, either by force or by infiltration, I will stuff them into my cannon and fertilize my lawn with them. That's what he said.
Lincoln said that?
That's what he said.
What?
No,
And,
Winfield Scott.
Oh, Winfield Scott said
Yeah,
that.
and what he did in real fact, because he was a really smart guy, he gave all of the Capitol Police and all those guys that they had the day off. They said go home, and he went and got policemen from Baltimore, from New York City, all kinds of like badass cops, and he had them in plain clothes all over the Capitol, all heavily armed, but in plain clothes. So, and people know. So if somebody started something, the guy would just go like this or elbow him or whatever.
Yeah.
But the appearance was that it was peaceful and that there was no military presence.
Whoa.
But nothing happened. That's what it took to get Lincoln. Everybody, up to the minute that happened, everyone was like, I don't know if he's ever going to take office.
Yeah.
People believed he would never be president.
Dude, he wasn't even on the ballot in the southern states. Not even on the ballot.
Yeah.
What?
He didn't win one southern state.
A lot of people, big people who
Yeah.
would be like whoever now, wrote long things saying, don't take office. Your presidency, your victory is hollow.
Mm-hmm.
It's not real. Not even just people from the South, but people from the North. Everyone was afraid that Lincoln was going to just immediately free the slaves and start war with the South. And his first inauguration, he says, first thing out of his mouth is, I have no intention of freeing the Southern slaves or changing their slave laws. And yes, we will chase down and bring you back your slaves when they come up here within reason. He puts like a tiny thing of like, we're not going to like make it our obsession, but we will do it. Like, it's the first thing out of his mouth.
That's what bothers me about people, like people that are critics of him hang on to that. And they're like, Lincoln didn't want to do it. It's like, dude, the whole time that's what he wanted.
Of course he did. That's what, again, it goes all the way back to the framers. They all wanted this to be a better country than it was. So they knew they couldn't create a nation without slavery. So they said, let's create a nation where people can change peacefully. They can change not only leadership, but the laws. Create a situation where people figure it out for themselves and move forward and change, instead of like a constitution could have been a very permanent thing. It could have been a very solid, permanent thing, but they actually made it elastic on purpose. And that's, Lincoln was like, we'll do it, guys.
Yeah.
We'll do it. We need some fucking time. And boy, what it cost is crazy. And a lot of people who didn't want slavery were really angry at Lincoln for how hard he pushed that war, and that he didn't just settle it. Just let the South do whatever they want. We have our free blacks here. Let them take their chances down there. You're killing millions, or however many fucking, I don't know how many people it was. Like 250,000 people died in the Civil War.
Yeah, probably around there.
Something like about how many we killed in Iraq in a day.
Yeah,
pretty much.
True.
Yeah, for doing nothing.
Less than Middle Eastern civilians.
Yeah. Measure it in like Persian weddings.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, it was Yeah, Lincoln's the best.
He was really something. I mean, it just took a lot of political guts, a lot of fuck.
Yeah.
This is gonna suck.
Just trying to talk to these fucking cunts from the South.
That must be nuts.
That it's just like, clearly this is for money. You know it's wrong.
Yep.
You know it's wrong.
Yeah.
It's 1865.
Well, it was the ultimate
1860.
time.
They know it's wrong.
One, folks not wanting to say that shit's wrong.
Yeah.
And him like not making them say it, but getting them to just one guy at a time. He would just go around, get support here, get support there, put muscle in where he had it, and he fought a brutal war, fucking a incessant war.
And he had to wait until he got a victory to fucking announce the Emancipation Proclamation. He was trying so hard to get it out, but his generals kept fucking up and losing. And he would just be writing to these dudes like, go.
Yeah, please.
Do it.
Get one.
Get one. Like, I think he wrote it after Antietam, which was like a draw. He's like, that's pretty good.
Yeah, he did.
He's like, that's close enough. Here we go.
We're doing it. Shot.
Yeah, and then he got his fucking head blown off.
By next to his wife.
Yeah.
And they put a little napkin. That was what they did for him. They put a little napkin back there and hoped, but it was not a good. It was not a very.
He was alive for a while after.
Yeah, that's what
he
I'm
didn't
saying.
just die right away.
He didn't have to die at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He didn't die right away.
Really?
Yeah.
Bled to death.
He was like alive in the
He's like,
hotel for like
and they're
day.
like, we don't know how to do anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. What play was he saying? Does anyone know?
Fuck, I do know.
What play?
What was the play? It was at the Ford's Theater.
I don't remember the.
See what he was watching.
Yeah, it was something good.
Yeah.
He was fixated.
He was into it.
He didn't notice the assassin.
That's the weird thing. It was Hamilton.
Yeah, it was Hamilton.
Yeah.
He was sitting there like, what was it? Nice. He was sitting there watching it like, I got to pretend to like this.
Yeah.
It was fucking Hamilton.
And then they shot him and he was like, thank God.
This place sucks.
Christ, this shit sucks so bad. So that brings us to Johnson.
So Johnson was the first guy to be impeached.
Was he impeached? Oh, yeah.
First guy to be impeached, yeah.
Johnson shows up. This is great. He was like a tough guy. He was supposed to be the counteraction to Lincoln.
Well, he's one of the reasons the war was prolonged, because everybody knew if we could just get rid of Lincoln. Johnson was behind him there was a deal to be made. It was like don't talk outside the family. He was like, son, Sonny liked my deal, didn't he? Sonny was hot for my deal. Yeah. Johnson would have fucking settled in a minute.
Johnson started his life as an indentured servant.
No shit.
And worked his way up. How sick is that?
That's impressive.
And then before his inauguration, he got fucked up on whiskey and just couldn't talk. His inauguration, it was in the rain and the mud right after Lincoln got shot. And everyone was like,
first one. He's the one who proved you can impeach a president, but you cannot get the fucking votes. It's a waste of time, and he ends up stronger.
Yeah,
it's the dumbest move in the world. It's vanity.
Yeah,
it's just Congress hates the president. It's just bullshit.
Yeah,
but it doesn't accomplish anything. I don't remember why they went after him. Whatever. He was very corrupt. He's a fucked up guy. I don't. Who knows? It's all shit that I heard because of them. But they impeached him and then failed to get rid of him.
Really?
I know nothing else about him. But
I don't know either.
But then fucking
Grant.
Amazing guy.
Great guy, amazing guy. I feel like his presidency was a bit of a fucking letdown for how cool he was.
I mean, he did so Christing much, this guy.
Oh, true. To help the South, he was pretty good.
What did he do?
Well, he was first of all, some people get on him because he owned one slave.
Oh, man.
Because his father-in-law, his wife's father, hated him because he was an abolitionist. I mean, he wasn't like an active abolitionist.
Sure.
But he was against slave, just for not having a slave.
Yeah.
Back then, if you didn't have a slave, you were a dick to certain people. So
you were like, put on a mask.
Yeah.
You were that guy. You were like, why do you have slaves?
Yeah.
And they're like, why is this guy making me feel uncomfortable?
Yeah. So he hated him because he had slaves and he didn't want one. So he gave him one as a wedding present, like to spite him.
What a dick.
Yeah. So
Jesus.
So Grant made the guy his partner. And they started a little business together, which he then freed the guy and gave him the business.
Yeah. He
made
would
that guy.
He would go
life.
work with the slaves. He'd be out there with them working.
Yeah.
And then while he was like financially ruined,
he
freed his slaves instead of selling them.
But he had one though?
I'm not sure. He might have had one at that
That's
point.
the story I just told you. Is, I think his slave story. I don't think he had a bunch of them.
He had one slave and he freed him instead of selling him.
But his father-in-law,
and he gave him a business that he had started with him.
Yeah, his father-in-law history fucked him. He was like,
that's right. That's right. And then he was in the army.
Absolutely.
He was in the army, and he went. One of his first jobs was outpost near San Francisco. It was in the middle of nowhere. There was no. I mean, it was in the desert of California. He was the only one there, and he was a family man. He loved his family.
He missed his bed.
Missed his family so much, and he started just getting drunk. And somebody came to drop the mail and found him passed out drunk. And that was his only experience with alcohol. He was a very rigidly living guy, and he was known as a drunk for the rest of his life.
Really?
There's arguments.
Every time he had a political problem, they'd go, he's drinking.
There's arguments. There's rumors he was fucked up at Shiloh.
Because he sat under a tree in the rain. They found him sitting under a tree in the rain outside of a military hospital.
It also is funny because Shiloh, he woke up on day 2 of it.
Yeah.
At like the start of day 2. Or maybe it was the start of day 1 when it started. He was late to get there. So everybody was like, he was hammered. But if he was hammered, that's very funny. To be like, oh shit, there's a war.
So after he had won the Civil War. Started really Reconstruction, he was in earnest wanting to get opportunities and equity for black people, equal opportunity for black people. And then he retired and was in New York. He became a New Yorker. He became a big part of this city.
Yeah.
And he had a son named Kermit, who I think his name was Kermit, that was the 1800s.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Kermit invested.
What a fucking great name.
Invested his money and all of his father's money with some asshole guy who took it and just left town and just took all of their money, every penny that they had. And so Grant went to visit Vanderbilt, who's outside of the Grand Central Station. There's a great statue of him. I think it was Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
Went to the richest man in New York City. Who was a hard ass, a guy who didn't care for charity or anything, but he brought what's his name? The sword that was Lee.
Well,
He had Robert E. Lee's sword that he surrendered to him. What? He had his Congressional Medal of Honor and the Bible that he took the oath of office in, and he gave them. He said, "I want to sell these to you because I have no money." And Vanderbilt said, Jesus Christ, Mr. President.
Holy shit.
We're not doing that. He said, I'm going to donate these to the national museums, and I'll give you he bought them for the nation.
Did he buy his biography? Isn't that what he...
No, so here's what happened with the biographies. It's the best part of his story, and it's actually his greatest legacy. His autobiography is like the greatest ever written. Yeah. So... he met 2 guys on a train. He'd do anything for money at this point. His wife was very young. He was broke after everything he'd been through. He was broke, and his wife was young, and he was going to leave her destitute. So he met 2 guys on a train. They're like, "Why don't you write your autobiography? We'll pay you $1,000." And he was like, "Done."
What?
Oh,
so then, about a week later, he meets up with. Mark Twain was like his best friend, and Mark Twain said, "Why don't you write your autobiography, your memoirs?" And he said, "I'm doing that for these guys." And he goes, "What are they paying you?" And he goes, $1,000. And he's like, "Dude, what is wrong with you?" And he says, "Give me the book. I'll publish." Because Mark Twain had started his own publishing company because he hated publishers. He said, "I'll publish it and I'll help you write it." And he said, "I promised those 2 guys." He's like, "Did you sign something?" He goes, "No, but I did. I gave my word." Fuck. So Twain, or his real name, what's his
Clemens.
Clemens travels to. I think he went to see Sherman. He went to see. He's like, "I need to see somebody who he'll listen to." So he went to visit Sherman, and said, "Please get him to do this." So Sherman wrote a telegram to Grant saying, for the love of God, give the book to Clemens. That's what the thing.
That's awesome.
So he wrote his autobiography, and the remarkable thing about it that I read was that there's like no adjectives in it. It's like all verbs and nouns. The entire book is verbs and nouns because he just says what happened. It's a very well written book, and so Clemens turned it into this special edition that you had to order one. You could get any color you wanted. and it was the first blockbuster book in American history. It made like $500,000 in the first month. Meanwhile, he had a goiter that was growing and growing.
Many stogies. You always see him with the stogies.
Died of throat cancer like right as he finished the book.
Whoa.
And then his wife was made for life. Her first check from Twain was like $400,000.
Whoa.
Yeah, I think wasn't he buried here? And this monument.
And he's buried in Grant's tomb in Harlem. And when he died, there was this huge funeral, and it was Northern and Southern soldiers. Southern soldiers were allowed to put back on their Southern uniforms because it was a big thing that his casket was carried by North and South.
It's too bad you can never get away with wearing a Confederate uniform in Harlem these days.
No,
because that would
get
be a
away
treat.
with.
Yeah, but he was fucking awesome at when Lee surrendered. He was very like, I mean, it was unconditional surrender.
Mm-hmm.
So he was like, you guys are gonna fucking give up, but he was like, keep your guns, go home, start rebuilding.
Mm-hmm.
Like he could have fucking destroyed the South.
Yeah.
And he was very chill. I think Custer stole the fucking sword. He hated
Did he?
Custer. I think Custer stole Lee's sword.
Is
Maybe
that
he got
right?
it back, but I think the story was Grant wouldn't accept it, or something along
Wanted
those
him to
lines.
keep it.
And
Yeah, Custer was bloodthirsty guy.
And then on the parade back into Washington, Grant was obviously out front. Custer fucking rode ahead, and Grant was like, "This motherfucker." Custer was the
with
man.
his blonde hair.
If you look into Custer, he was pretty fucking.
I
cool.
don't know much about him.
He fucked up Jeb Stuart at Gettysburg, which was pretty cool because Jeb was the man. And he rode in. He was with the Michigan cavalry, and he was like, "Come on, you Wolverines!" and fucking led him into a charge. That's why they're the Michigan Wolverines. All that shit.
So then you got Hayes, who undid all of this cool stuff for black people.
It's all
and politically,
very...
he didn't want to deal with it, so he just did away with it. And then you got fucking who else? Then it goes
Garfield.
Then I get Bleary.
Yeah, this is like the Gilded Age, is what it's called. It's all shit.
Yeah.
But this is where shit, like, it goes from we ended slavery to now just right back into just racism.
Really?
Not slavery, but just every law against them.
Subjugation, it became the same obsession as before.
Yeah.
But without slavery, it just became all about not letting them vote, keeping them off the
And that goes
ballot.
all the way up until, like, now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, we're
just yesterday.
2018.
We figured it out
we
yesterday.
figured it out yesterday. Thank God.
Yeah.
Finally,
Today,
Arkansas.
we got a nice little nation.
Yeah. Louisiana cleaned up their act a little.
True.
And Alabama.
My favorite president, just jumping way the fuck ahead, is Nixon. Is my favorite.
Dude, he's awesome.
He's the best. And again, as a character,
yes,
Nixon gave the country one great gift that I wish was like, I wish it was taught, like the speech that Lincoln has on his monument and the "Ask not what your country" and all that shit. The greatest thing that he did, because it speaks more to what Americans live, is that when Nixon was shamed and destroyed and had to leave office, he had to fucking resign. He had to give, after a couple of "I'm not a crook and this is all bullshit," he had to go and say, "Well,
all right,
I'm gonna go." And
still not a crook, but I'm gonna get out of here.
Gerald Ford would take the oath of office at this time in this office. And he left, but before he left, he gave a speech to his staff, to the White House staff. That was impromptu. It was just on his way to the helicopter, and he's copiously crying in the speech. There's video of it that you can see. You have to try to find the whole thing because there's clips that you can find on YouTube. But I actually ordered from C-SPAN a DVD of the whole speech, and they're all bawling, the whole staff, and his family standing behind him. And he just tells them, look, he's encouraging them. He said, this is a tough moment for all of us. He said, first of all, I don't want to discourage young people from being in public service. He was afraid of what
has happened.
Yes.
He was right.
He said, don't be discouraged from public office. It's a great calling. And he said, and for any mistakes that we made and all everything that's happened, not one person in this administration gained financially from anything, from being here. left richer than when they got here. He made it first, so he defended everybody that was there, and then he just starts reflecting. He reads from Teddy Roosevelt's autobiography, from his diary, when Teddy's wife and mother died at the same night. They both died of cholera or whatever on the same night. He was going from one room to the other.
Oh, yeah.
And they both died. And he was like at 21 or something. And he wrote this quote that was like, the light has gone out and it'll be darkness forever. And he said, so he read it to his staff and he said, that's how he felt, having lost his wife and his mom. And he went on and had this incredible life. So he's trying to say, so he says, no, don't be discouraged. Never be petty. Don't hate your enemies, because that's when you'd start to destroy yourself. He gets it really introspective about everything that happened without talking about it. And then he says, it's horrible. He goes, he says, they'll never write a book about my mother, but she was a saint.
Oh, man.
And I think of her, like one of his brothers had tuberculosis and they had no money. So she moved to Arizona where the air was better. Mm. And she was a nurse, wet nurse. She nursed other people's babies for money in order that her son could live in Arizona. And he talks about his father, who was a lemon farmer, who had a failing lemon farm. And then he was a switchman on a streetcar. And he just talks about his parents and what they did for him and all that shit. He just cries. Oh, it's fucking beautiful, but it shows you a man at the height of American experience, destroyed from that height, which is the worst thing that can happen to a person, is to get that high and fall. And he just went, here's how this feels. He just told the world, this is how this feels. This is what this looks like. Yeah. And here's all I can say. And then he went and then he left. Incredible. I mean, he was one of the most influential people in American history.
Yeah. He ended Vietnam, right?
Yes.
That was already about done.
He was fucking Eisenhower's vice president.
There's a guy we know that's a bit of a conspiracy guy, but he's been pretty correct on everything so far, and he's got a book coming out on Watergate.
Yeah.
Okay.
And about how that was a little darker than it seemed.
Like so I knew a guy back when I was first living in the city as a comedian. There was a guy named Frank Gannon who had Frank Gannon wrote speeches for Nixon and was a very close friend of his. And weirdly, he became the guy who books the comedians on Letterman. And when I moved to New York back in 1990 or so, being on Letterman was all anybody wanted. So Gannon was the most important person in comedy at the time. And he was a strange guy who was very serious. And he would just come and he'd watch you. And if he liked you, he'd get Morty to come and maybe you'd be on the show. So he liked me. He never got me on the show, but he liked me. So I went to Letterman's office and met him. And I asked him about Nixon because he wrote, Nixon has one big biography called RN that Gannon co-wrote. And he told me that when you get a few drinks in Nixon, he says the same people that got the Kennedys got me. It's the same people that got. Yeah, he said it's the same machine.
Whoa.
That took out.
Yeah,
John and Robert
Kennedy
came after him. He said they just couldn't use bullets anymore because it was getting too. They were on
exactly what we said. Yeah. We said that without him.
Watergate was. He said Watergate was something that happened all the time. It was just like, and still does. I mean, it's not like, oh my goodness. It's how things are done. Yeah, it's a safe with $1 million in it. What president doesn't have a safe with $1 million?
Yeah. It was.
So that's Nixon's story. That was Nixon's story. He didn't say it in public, because the same as he conceded the presidency to Kennedy, which Kennedy stole. I mean, everyone knows that his father took suitcases of money to delegations and stole the presidency, and Nixon knew it, and he was like, "I'm not gonna. This is not good for the country to get into it." That's why he resigned instead of standing trial, and that's why he doesn't talk about that's the story, you know.
Yeah. That's a good most interesting president.
Most interesting, I think, to me. Yeah, I mean, Johnson was also a fascinating guy.
Yeah.
Johnson was, and Reagan was kind of an empty-headed genius, incredible, knows how to just be. As long as somebody else is in the room, Reagan was brilliant. But I'm not sure he had any thoughts. You know what I mean? There's people like that.
Yeah, he was like an actor that was like, I guess I'll be a Republican while he was there. And then, which was pretty admirable at the time, because he was, actually no, it wasn't, because that was in the middle of the Red Scare. He was like one of the guys being like, you're a communist. And he just became the man.
My favorite film of Reagan is Larry King interviewing him after he was shot and saying, so what do you feel about this guy? And he said, well, I just pray for him. He's a sick man. He's just, I found out later that he's sick. He's mentally ill. So we add him to our prayers. And we hope for the best for him. And he says it with this big
smile. Yeah, he's like, we're fucking that guy up. Yeah. I hope he's doing good.
Yeah.
He's doing great.
Yeah.
I think that should be it, right?
Yeah, I think that's about enough.
You had fun.
Yeah, it was good. Why do you accusing me of having fun? Yeah, it was fun.
Thanks for doing it, man.
Sure. Thanks for asking. It's fun.
Goodbye.